Now, there is a passport event coming up here in Hamilton County this Saturday. And joining us now is Pavan Parkih with the Clerk of Court to tell us more about hosting that event. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so this is a big one for people
Yeah.
because it takes so long to get your application processed, get that photo taken. It's a lot
That's
of elements that you have to do when you are applying for a passport. So first, tell us a little bit about the fair. What is going to be available for people when they get there?
So we are a one-stop shop. So when you come into our Red Bank office on Saturday from 8 until noon, anything you need to get your passport, we can take care of. So if you need to get your picture taken, we can do that. Fill out your fees, take the applications. This is mainly for new passports. If you want to renew your passport, you do that through the mail. But you're still going to need a picture. So you can come to us and we can get your picture taken. And if you got any questions, we can answer those questions for you.
Okay, I gotta ask, does this expedite the process for people? Because I feel like that's the number one question.
So it expedites the process on that day because we don't require an appointment. And in fact, none of our auto title offices require an appointment. So if you ever need to get a passport, you can come to one of our 3 offices, no appointment necessary, and we're a one-stop shop to take care of you. What we're doing here is saying all of our operations at Red Bank on Saturday are going to be completely devoted to getting people in through the door and getting their passport applications filled.
So this is the perfect time really to do it, especially with the travel season approaching. I know maybe you won't have it back in time for the holidays, but you know, if we're looking out further, we have spring break coming up and a lot of people do take those trips.
And that's why we're doing it now, because we know it's a little tight to make it for Christmas, but we're going to hope that we can get it done. But looking at spring break coming up, looking at summer plans, people are starting to make those plans with their families as they get together the holiday season. So we wanted to make sure that we could get ahead of that and ensure that people are going to have their passports by the time they go somewhere for spring break or the summer.
Now, during the pandemic, there were delays with passports, getting those processed. Is the government caught up with those yet? So what's the projected timeline?
So potentially 7 to 10 weeks. If you do not choose expedited, you can pay an extra fee to the State Department to expedite your application. And they're saying approximately 6 weeks. I think we just did ours with our family over the summer. It was about that, maybe even a little bit quicker, but understand we're getting into that holiday season. So they're gonna probably get a lot of applications. So I would expect if you choose not to expedite it, somewhere within that 7 to 10 week range.
And of course, you got to be prepared when you go. You have to have your necessary documentations. Talk about some of the things that you need to bring with you.
Absolutely. So we need identification, right? We're giving you a federal ID here. So we need identification, proof of citizenship. We also need to make sure that you have the fees associated. So the State Department only takes check or money orders. For any additional processing fees with the Clerk of Court's office, you can also pay those with cash or credit card in addition to a check. And then if you have a minor child, you need both parents present, or there is a form on the State Department's website that you can have filled out and notarized and bring that in. And you know, if you're in a situation where maybe the other parent is not in the picture, there are other ways of proving that. But I think it's really important to remember, especially when dealing with minors, that this is a document that authorizes them to leave the country. So it's really important to make sure that you have all the necessary paperwork to ensure that they can get their passport taken care of that day.
And I do want to stress, you will need original forms of identification as well. Because what's interesting about the process, if you haven't done it already, you have to mail off your original birth certificate and then they return it back to you.
That's correct. And they return it back. And then if you had a passport, if you're just doing a renewal, you have to send that with it as well. And so you have to wait for them to come back. They don't come back in the same form, just in order to maintain some security there. But yes, you need to have an original. So if you've got a couple days, if you need to go to the health department and get a new birth certificate, please go and do that so we can make sure that we process you through on Saturday.
And really quickly, go ahead and recap where that event is happening.
So this is happening at our Red Bank Auto Title office. For any information, including address, hours outside of just this weekend passport fair, or also requirements in more detail on what you need to bring, please just go to our website, courtclerk.org, and all that information is there.
Thank you so much for being here with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.